Today, we're comparing the 35mm and the 50mm lens and why you might choose one over the other. Both of these lenses are great first lenses because they're inexpensive and they're a great step up from your basic zoom lens. They're also similar to what your eye sees. Some people are more on the 50mm side, some people are on the 35mm side, but both are similar to what you see in the natural world. That makes it a great lens because then when people look at your pictures, it's similar to the perspective that they're used to seeing. It can also be helpful in translating what you see into what you want to create. So first off, let's talk a little more about the 35mm lens and why I think it's a great option. I think the 35 is awesome because it's versatile. You can shoot portraits, you can shoot travel, you can shoot a wide variety of subjects, and it's wide enough to where if you are in a closer environment like shooting indoors, it's not going to be constraining. 35mm is also the lens of choice for a lot of photojournalists because it gives the viewer the ability to be close while still getting a perspective on the whole scene. We find that 35mm is great for landscape portraits or environmental portraits because it allows you to capture the subject while also capturing that background and getting the whole scene in one frame. So next up, 50mm. Even though it can be a little more limiting, it allows for some of the things that the 35mm doesn't. At 50mm, you get a little bit of compression, which makes your subject appear closer to the background. So an example of that might be a mountain and a person, and it really brings those two together in the photo. It's also great because it gives you, if you get a fast 50mm lens, it can give you an awesome look to the background, that bokeh, where it's blurred, and it separates your subject from the background. That background separation is awesome if you really want to isolate your subject and draw the viewer's attention because the eye is naturally drawn to the sharpest area of the photo. The main challenge of the 50 is that if you're shooting indoors or in small spaces, it can limit your ability to capture everything you want. However, Brendan and I feel that constraints spark creativity. So choosing a 50mm lens might force you to be really selective, and it might give you a more creative image than you might find if you just included everything in the frame. To quote one of our favorite photographers, David Dushman, "Gear is good, but vision is better." So choosing a lens that will give you constraints can often lead to a more interesting photograph. Also, thinking first about what you want to create will help you choose the right lens for your subject. I hope this comparison helps you figure out which lens is right for you, 35 or 50. They're both great lenses and you can't go wrong. We'll also put a link to this video which talks more about the 35mm focal length and why it's a great option. You can see a video here about 35mm lenses specifically for Sony cameras and which lens you should choose. Let us know in the comments what your lens of choice is or if there's any other focal lengths or lenses that you guys want us to review.